to your website, we've made like a few prototypes. And I mean, basically, it's just like a really lo-fi version of like where we want to place things and just the overall kind of look and feel of the website. So first, we just kind of have like a screen with a bunch of squares, and then that kind of evolved into different pages where you have like this layout with like the teams and their members and like a short preview of whatever like the thing was. And then just different ideas and like formatting for like themes, and then just different like versions of the website that we might want to explore. So basically in Figma, it's pretty easy to pick up if you're familiar with like any sort of art software, but you usually start with picking a frame, and you have all of these kind of presets here. So if you're doing like an iPhone app or an iPad thing, but generally I'll just use like the MacBook Pro frame because it's like a nice shape. And after that, you can kind of just do anything. So say we're like recreating or like we're making a website for, I don't know, some new brand. Like you could do like brand name. There's a lot of font options and just different things you can do with spacing. But I am not going to go into that, I think. So it's really easy to just place text and then just start kind of figuring out like what you want the site to look like. And it's really useful just to get a basic sense of what you're doing when you're like making a new website. And I'm just like not really sure what I should cover because I don't know what people are like actually interested in.
Do you have
Is
like
Figma-
examples? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
you have like examples. I don't even really know what it does. So like, or like what you can do. Like, yeah, show us like
Yeah.
examples.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I do have some. It's just like really slow. But I had this pulled up, which is this is like Uber's design system. And I mean, I'm guessing they just use Figma for everything. So you can see just like they have all their like color systems laid out and like all of their typography. So this is generally kind of just like the basics when you're starting out with a design and you need to kind of have all these things defined. So here they've like separated it as like display, heading, label, and you can also just see like how they lay out their grids and like all of their kind of button designs. So all of these little things are like have a lot of thought put into them. So things like accordion, like the plus minus thing, just all of these different options. And something cool that Figma allows you to do is, so say you have like a button design. I'm just going to like do a really quick one, but let's say you want like rounded corners and like a red color, and then also some text.
Nice.
What did you say? You can select this and then kind of create a component. And then after that, this is kind of known as like the master component. And then when you make a copy, you have a like child component.
Dylan,
So then whenever
can mute
you
yourself?
I'm gonna mute myself because my dog's barking.
yeah, no worries. Then if you want to make a change to like all of the buttons in your app, you can just change like the master component. So it changes the color for like every single button on like all of your pages essentially. which is really nice because that way you're not going to like have to go back and change everything on every page. Um,
It's like good for it's kind of like a whiteboard, but then you can structure things really well and also connect things together to like change all of them at the same time.
yeah, and there's like another thing with Figma where I'm trying to find like a good example, but I think a big thing with Figma is that something called prototyping, where when you actually can mock all of the interactions. So, uh, sorry, I think my laptop's just laggy, but let me close this. Like this was something I did for a design-a-thon a few months ago, and essentially it's like a teaching app, and we have all of these kind of screens laid out. So we have like the home page, and then registering, uh, kind of all of these screens. And I mean, the reason why we have all of these kind of duplicate screens is so that when we actually play like the design, everything kind of works. So I'm just going to wait for this to load, but yeah, so this is the mock-up of our design. And if you actually like click things, it'll actually kind of be like a real website, even if there's nothing coded at all. Um,
Miss Liu.
yeah, it's just so this is kind of just an example of like how we want the sign up flow to be. And this way it's really easy to explain to like engineers, kind of like a lot of the little details you want. And I forget what the next interactions are here. But you can like scroll and everything, and like clickable things. You can just like prototype all of those out.
Is prototyping like the closest thing that Figma can do in terms of creating the actual like website or product? Like,
Yeah, so Figma does have like a tiny code tab, but like I wouldn't really recommend using it. But I prototyping is like yeah, basically the closest thing to like actually interacting with your design. And it also works on mobile designs. There's like an app called Figma Mirror where you can like see and use your design on your phone. But it's not like nothing is actually coded basically. You'd still need like engineers or web developers to do that.
And that would take place like outside of Figma.
Yeah, there are some like plugins where I think they actually can convert a Figma design to like an actual website. I
Mhm.
think there's one called like Anima, but I haven't like tried them out too much.
I see.
But yeah, Figma is like a really good design tool, and I think a big thing was also that it's kind of like the Google Docs of design, because a lot of the other design software is kind of price locked. So there's like Adobe XD, I think, and also a few other tools like InVision. But Figma is pretty much free and also like very free for students. And it's like super easy to share your file with people and also like design on the same screen. So that was like a big thing.
Are there like examples of like using it as a mood board kind of thing? Because like I have a friend
The
who
mood
uses
board.
it like as a mood board when he's working on new projects with people. Just like
Mm.
pasting like images like and using it just like a Pinterest kind of.
Actually, I've used Figma for doing like a design sprint, which is like kind of like brainstorming. Let me pull that up. Yeah, remote design sprint. There's like a template for it. So this is just like the introduction. Let me zoom in a bit, but this is like the actual thing. So we did something called lightning talks, which is where we like divide people into different sections, and then everyone kind of went off and collected some like website inspiration. So this section was for like the homepage. So people were just pasting images of like homepages they liked or like something they liked about them. And what we did with like the green dots that you see is that like everyone had like 3 green dots, and then they would just put them next to like the screenshots they liked the most. Uh, yeah, so we have like a bunch more here. And like this isn't super organized. Like I'm sure you could have more like links and things like that. Um, this group was for like brainstorming about redesigning like our search page. So people took screenshots from like Amazon, YouTube, just like different sites. Like this one got a lot of votes.
Do you know if 3D models work with Figma or is it mostly just 2D stuff?
Um, I don't think 3D models would work. Like, are you imagining like an actual 3D model and then you're like able to rotate it, or?
Yeah, or like I guess people would just take a screenshot of it, huh?
Mm, yeah, I don't know. Maybe there are like plugins for that though.
Oh, you can
Something that's
add
really nice
plugins
about
to it?
Figma is that like, or yeah, what did he say?
I didn't know you could add plugins to it.
Yeah, there's like a super useful plugin that I got recently where it's like you can fill in like a Figma template with um, like a Google sheet, like a spreadsheet, where it's like you just have to name the components, like the name of the column, and then it'll like fill it all out. So if you want like a custom designed like certificate you have to do for a lot of people, or like I don't know, like a fancy email or something, it makes it really easy to like fill in names. Um, yeah, this is more of like a collage or like mood board kind of part. Um, and then we also did something called Crazy Eights, where everyone like sketches 8 different designs for something. It's kind of hard to see, but and then people were just voting on like different parts of the design that they liked.
Could
So
you
some people just
draw?
use like paper and pencil, or I think some people actually used Figma, like this one.
Could you like draw stuff on
Yeah,
Figma?
yeah, you can. There's like a pen tool for vectors and
Oh,
also like
okay.
a pencil tool.
This is
I mean,
very
this
cool.
is this is less Figma and more like of a design thinking or like design exercise for like developing a product, basically.
Wait, have you not seen this before, Steph?
I've like known or I've heard of Figma so much, but I always associate it with like, I mean, I guess it is like UI UX heavy. A lot of people in that field use it,
Mm,
and just from the surface level, I didn't find a reason to like use it myself. But like
mm.
seeing more about it, it's like I still don't know how I would use it, but it's like it's really interesting. It's really powerful.
Yeah, I think it's good if I don't know, you have like a lot of ideas and then you want to just like have some sort of visual representation that's like not like a drawing or a sketch, because it's like super quick to just like make things. Like recreating Instagram's design or something like that is a really interesting like first Figma exercise that you could do. And this is like another just like website design that I did this summer, I think. So essentially, the idea was like a Chrome extension that gives you like more information about like a news article you're reading. And this was kind of like the landing page, um, and just like more screenshots of like what the extension would look like, the login screens, things like that. And it's super easy to just iterate. Um, so I think these are more like final versions, but I have a lot more. So this is just the background. These are all just different variations of like things we wanted to do. So like highlighting the article title, um, displaying like a article summary, and also like giving recommendations. So having like a recommendations tab with related articles, just like figuring out how to display um, like the bias rating as like a readable symbol, while also having like the article titles and like the dates was kind of tough. But yeah, I think this is one of the final drafts. So we have like a summary and then more articles with like dates and also ratings.
I was like thinking this might be useful for like planning out our projects together later.
Mm, like for brainstorming sessions.
Yeah. So we can just like paste like pictures and stuff like in one place so we're not just sending links to each other.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about that too, because it's like, yeah, really hard to keep all of your like bookmarks and just like snippets organized. And I feel like
Yeah.
it'd be a lot easier if you had like a really big graph or something.
Can you put like videos on there? Like if you link a YouTube video, can you like press play on it and it'll play, or does that not work?
I'm not sure. I think you probably could, but like that's not really what I think you're like meant to do.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think you can do it in Figma. Like it's not meant for putting videos on it.
Okay. Well, I mean like I was just interested in Figma because I was looking for a way to like whiteboard things
Hmm.
and just like paste like random videos or pictures like on like a canvas kind of.
I think there is a tool called like, I don't know if it's this one. Yeah, there's
Oh,
this app, but I don't know how good it is because it was kind of weird when I tried it.
okay. Looks like another contender for a workshop.
But yeah, if anyone's like interested in UI UX, I think Figma is like a really good thing to know. And you can definitely like format your portfolio, and also I know some people make their resumes in Figma for some reason, but like I guess it works.
Oh wait, like you can save like certain pages as a PDF or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh wait, that's convenient.
Mhm. Um, I don't think I've like ever tried to export something as a PDF, but I'm sure there's either an extension or like a way that you could do it. Like with any of these, you can definitely export as like an image or an SVG. Oh, I guess there is a PDF option.
Oh,
Okay, let me try this.
well, does anybody else have any more questions? This is like a slightly shorter workshop. It's just introducing this tool.
Yeah, I think it's like it could be super useful for us. Like, yeah, because before we were just like using a fucking Google Drive or like a Google Doc or something to like
Dude, what do you have against the Google Drive, man?
uh nothing technically, but I think this is better.
Okay, well, if nobody else has any questions, um, yeah. Thanks for doing this workshop, even though it was like a mini workshop, I guess.
Sorry, kind of like haphazard because I didn't really know what to talk about.
I mean, I didn't even know like a lot of stuff that you just mentioned, so it just like helps seeing
Mhm.
it explained by someone who's used it before.
If you want to do some like mini graphic design, like Figma also works. Or like I was trying to redo my personal website, and I was like doing these. Um,
Did you just like draw those with a pen?
yeah, so everything in Figma I think is basically a vector, which means that like you have straight lines, but you can also like curve them and things like that. Which means that it's like infinitely scalable. So like if I make this thicker, but then I like zoom in a ton, like you'll notice that the edges are still like perfect, right? Like there's no pixelation. So everything's like kind of defined by coordinates, I think. And like yeah, same goes for like everything here. Like all of the edges are like perfectly smooth.
Mm.
Those vectors, man.
Yeah. I'd still recommend Illustrator though for actual graphic design. But Figma is like a really good like in between.